Welcome back to the land of madness, where we hope Manchester United get different results by doing the same thing every single week. It's brought to you by Parimatch. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. It's United against Crystal Palace, Monday night football, and Crystal Palace should arguably have got their flip-flops on and ease themselves to Premier League safety without much else to play for. But I think that makes teams dangerous. It's just nonsense that teams at the bottom are harder to play against at the end of the season. It's teams in mid-table who traditionally get the most points. I don't know if it's the lack of pressure in needing to perform. Maybe they relax just that little bit and I don't know where it is. But teams in that middle that have so-called nothing to play for, they also have nothing to lose. Crystal Palace have been in pretty decent form. Perhaps it's a lack of pressure. I don't know what it is for them, but actually some of the best form in the league where they've taken 10 points from a possible 15 and they've beaten the likes of Liverpool, West Ham and Newcastle in April and actually playing some superb football that puts them unbeaten in their last four. On the other hand, United continue to disappoint at every single turn, having failed to beat relegation threat and Burnley last weekend. Yeah. Right, let's talk about Crystal Palace then. If we use the 5-2 demolition of West Ham of a reference, Palace set up with a 3-4-1-2 or a 3-4-3 sort of shape out of possession, which becomes a 3-2-5 in possession, overloading that back line. The defensive line of three works with a goalkeeper to move the ball up the pitch. The two central midfielders sit nice and deep, offering options, being able to rotate the ball, switch it from side to side. And that structure gives you wide and central overloads, resulting in lots and lots of opportunities for combinations for the likes of Elise and Eze, who are probably going to terrorize like Maguire and Casemiro. Elise and Eze are absolute technicians, and in tight spaces they thrive, and they move inside, which allows them to be targets for receiving the ball. Their excellent close control means that they can take it in those awkward tight spaces, and then if someone commits thinking we've got a little bit of protection here, I'm gonna smash it in, they get beat and they get rolled and they get turned or they get megged or they get dummied and sent the wrong way. Like it happens frequently. They're actually a joy to watch. It becomes much clearer when they transitioned into that 3-2-5 kind of shape. The likes of Mitchell and Munoz giving them width from the wing-back area, the back three, the double pivot with Hughes and Wharton. Those guys are the ones responsible for getting the ball to the likes of Eze and Elise, looking at trying to get the ball in the half space, looking at trying to find gaps between the lines, and they're absolute difference makers in attack, and they have the ability to create chances out of thin air because of just raw technical ability and excellent close control. Out of possession, they look to try and counter press with a little bit of an approach where it looks like a 5-2-3, which is an interesting sort of setup. But they have a bit of an offence on being quite counter pressing and zonal, which I think comes from like his time at Red Bull, I would think. When it comes to the star player, I think it's Eze. I think he's one of the best dribblers in the league. Everything seems to come off when it comes through him. He seems to have gone into a new level with that sort of central role that he's been picking up now. And he's got excellent vision, excellent awareness. He's a real threat on goal from distance, but also inside the box. Isn't afraid to gamble, which is obviously a trait in itself. But he's also deadly from set pieces because he's got sensational delivery. For United, I genuinely think you have two decisions to make. Do we start McTominay or do we start Eriksen? If you want to hold the ball, start Eriksen. If you just think you can create a bit of chaos, you start McTominay. Realistically, it should be Mainu and Amrabat that are playing, which he has tempted to play Amrabat, but how far off the pace does Amrabat look at the moment? He didn't look fit at the start of the season, and not playing him didn't make him fitter. Wonder how that works. If you're asking me, what do? I play Amrabat. Because you're going to want someone to try and get hold of Eze in that area. And as much as I think Mainu's a real good sort of player in that kind of pivot area, he ain't the man to do the man-marking job that you need on someone, whereas Amrabat is. And if you look at everybody else in the squad, there isn't a Manchester United player right now that's going to do that Ander Herrera, Eden Hazard job. Amrabat's the only guy who could do it, and I don't even know if he could do it. I don't know if he's got the legs to do that at the moment. And if he switches off for one moment, say he's going to be like, oh, I'm free. All right, cool, watch this. Nightmare, absolute nightmare scenario. But that's what United need, is someone in the area that can do that single position. I actually believe McTominay could do it, but something's in McTominay's head at the moment where the guy thinks he's fucking Erling Haaland reinvented, and he isn't playing in that kind of position. So what United 11 going to be? Well, it's going to be Onana in net. It's going to be Dalot and Wan-Bissaka at fullback, and it could be either side. Probably Wan-Bissaka on the right. It's going to be Casemiro and Maguire at centre-half because nobody else is fit. It's going to be Mainu, and then those three options. Eriksen, bad idea against the likes of Eze and Elise because they're just going to cause havoc in behind him. He does not have the legs to do that job. McTominay, bad idea because even though he has got the legs to do that job, one of the fittest players in the squad, if not the league, seemingly thinks he's a fucking number 9. So, all right, forget that. He could do that job. He's not going to do that job. Amrabat. Can Amrabat do that job? Well, Amrabat a year ago could have done that job. Amrabat right now, it's like asking me to do that job. I'll have a good go at it. Probably fail. Be gassed after 5 minutes. Like that. So I'd also pull something. So, yeah, you know that. And then the forward line. Yes, you might have some decisions to make in the forward line. Is it time for Mount to come in? Maybe. Could you play Bruno Fernandes there? I don't know if Bruno Fernandes has got a defensive instincts to follow someone in that. And do you want him to be following somebody that deep? You could bring Bruno in there to give a little bit of legs and ask Mainu to try and track someone like that, and an extra string to his bow, see if he's capable of doing that, and bring in like a Mount ahead of him. A little bit experimental. Don't expect it to happen. So it'll probably be Bruno in a 10. Could we see Mount off the right? Could we see Ahmad off the right? Could we see Ahmad down the middle? No, there are some options to us, but realistically, what we're going to see, it'll be fucking Anthony. It'll be Garnacho and it'll be Højlund. And we wonder why we don't get different results when we do the same things time and time again. It's just, you need hope. You need hope. And at the moment, there's no hope because you know you're just going to see the same stuff. Can we at least try something different? Are we just going to limp into the end of this season playing this 11 till it falls apart? Is that what we're going to do? Because that's really fun, that, isn't it? Really fun. Anyway, as always, brought to you by our friends at Parimatch. And I do have another exclusive bet boost that you're not going to get anywhere else. Crystal Palace. What's the bet? United to win. I am an optimist. Don't judge me. Both teams to score. Because I'm not that optimistic. Over 9.5 corners. Because games are chaos. And they'll have loads of shots, which means they'll get loads of corners. Do I think we'll get loads of corners? I don't know. And that's going to be 5-1. I mean, if you put a 5 on it, you get £30 in return if it wins. If you're interested in that, all you got to do is click the link in the description to get yourself involved. And as always, prices are subject to change. You've got to be over 18 to participate. And United are notoriously unpredictable. So a bit of fun to enhance your enjoyment, or maybe even get some enjoyment out of the game. And certainly no guarantee of victory. For more help, for more information on responsible gaming, please visit gambleaware.org. And once again, exclusive to myself and our good friends at Parimatch. So click the link below, get involved, or let me know what bets you are going for in the comments. How'd you beat them then? Well, you've got to have defensive physicality, and that's why I think Amrabat would be a really astute choice, even if you've only got a half out of him. Palace forward players are quick, they are dynamic, they are powerful, they are agile, and they are playing with a real level of freedom because they have that back three behind them that'll be like, no, you 5 of you, attack, go. So you got to be compact out of possession. You got to limit the 1v1s, the 2v2s, because they are so good in those situations that you're going to be overrun. We have to be a lot stronger, more aggressive out of possession than we have been. Need to limit the spaces in between the lines and the midfield whilst being mindful of the fact that they can counter very, very effectively. On the transition, well, the game will be won and lost on transitions, and not just because that's how United play, but also because Crystal Palace are really good on the transition. Are you? Mateta, Eze, Elise, yeah. Running against Casemiro and Maguire. I'm going to have a word with Parimatch because I think the odds actually aren't good enough for us winning this game. We might get absolutely tanned. Listen, they are vulnerable themselves when opposition get the ball because the three that they've got at the back are not exactly world class. If their fullbacks are out of position, they can get overrun, especially 4v3 if Bruno stays fairly high. You can get at them. You can absolutely get at them, but this is a game that's got goals in it for sure. Anyway, enjoy the game. I'll see you afterwards. Let me know your thoughts. Give us a score prediction. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.